nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think it's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. There's 2 games this week. We're going to try to do a double shift. Talk briefly about the New Mexico San Antonio match, or I guess not briefly, but talk a little bit more in detail about San Antonio, New Mexico, and then talk about the game on Tuesday against Colorado Springs, which is a makeup of COVID match that was canceled. Joining me, Matt, Rafa, Robert. So we'll start with you, Matt. How are you doing?
Pretty great. Just another day of soccer.
Robert, how are you? How was your evening last night?
Not bad. It was fun. I mean, I had a good time. Wasn't quite the result we were wanting, but like I said, nowadays I guess we're getting spoiled. So you got to, take the good with the bad and just figure it out, and then on to the next. And the work week's coming too, so that's no fun.
Rafa, I don't like your kit. I think you need to go change it.
Well, is it selling? Yeah,
they won this week.
Yeah, they won the Derby. So we won the Derby, and then last night the Club America won their Derby with Chivas. So two out of 3 ain't bad. So
I noticed you support a lot of front runners.
Huh?
I say if he doesn't like yours, then he likes mine. Then
yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad as far as the weekend. As far as I would say, SAFC had 1, but hey, point's a point. So we're still up top.
Yeah. So. Just remember, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
No. To me, the worst thing about the tie against New Mexico is it takes away SAFC's wiggle room that they have over Lou City. Yes, they got a 1 point lead and 1 game advantage, but their schedule down the stretch is a lot tougher. So, but I would love the opportunity to be able to host the finals, but it's not. So, for me, it was a pretty good weekend. Anna started playing rec soccer again, and she won her 2 matches. And AJ and his team, they had a pretty good 3-2 match today with SA City that they ended up winning, and AJ got his first goal in a couple of years because he's playing more up top where he should be. So
nice.
Did
Awesome.
he do his dance after for the like when they shoot?
No, they were down, and so it was the equaling goal, but it was one of those games where they got a second goal. They celebrated a little bit more, but then they gave up a late goal to Lions Academy for that here. So it was 2-2 at the late, and then almost near death they got a third goal, which that one of course they celebrated. And just with like with San Antonio FC, it got a little bit more chippier at the end, where there was even a yellow card, which at U15 usually the refs are pretty lenient on the thing there, and I know AJ was like, the player that he was going against kept holding him and getting in front of him. He's like, man, he thought it was football. But no, it was a fun day, and then obviously SAFC last night, fun match. I got called out a little bit by Chris Weehan, which we will see here, but he's a class guy. He did sign the flag that we were able to create on his infamous handball that didn't get called. So class guy by Chris Weehan, but unfortunately he was the New Mexico player that scored, and if you watch the video, he points directly and he was pointing at me. So we'll see here. But looking at how we started out, Rafa, So we went with I know you and I had discussions pre-match about what lineup it should be. They went with the 3-5-2 up top here: Tanner, Kamiri, Manley, Maloney, Gomez, PC, Abu, Pirano, and then Sam and Bologna up top. Your thoughts on the lineup? I know I think you were hoping for a different lineup, at least initially.
Yeah, I was hoping for going back to the 3-back because I don't know. We just don't do well when we have two up top, and I was hoping back to the 3-4-3 or even a 3-5-2. Well, with the attacking mid acting as a third forward because we've done well there, but this is more like parking the bus type of formation. But Maloney and, like I said, and Gomez, their roles is playing everything, being wide and pushing up wide and sending in crosses and so forth. But like I said, we'll discuss more of that as far as the game too. But it was a little surprise because I think this is the first time we've played this formation in a while. Mostly it's been a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, except for the last game, which we did play a 4-back, which was a surprise there too.
Well, we were short center back, so that's why. Robert, your thoughts on the lineup? Any positives, any negatives that you want to spout?
It just seems like always, Marcino's trying different things. Some things work, sometimes they don't. This one didn't seem as successful. I really think the biggest thing in what he's trying to combat in my mind is Garcia's absence being the field general in the back. So he's trying to compensate by trying different things just to see what works, what doesn't, interchanging pieces. Being in the position we're in, he has that luxury to be able to kind of tinker with stuff at times, and then sometimes injuries play a role. So, but overall, it's just one that may not be the best to try in the future.
Matt, any comments that you have?
I'm just waiting for Garcia to come back, man. I've just seen the 5-back. I was like, is this like a dangerous striking team or what's going on? But that's just me. I really want to see Garcia back out there. And also, I thought they would have played Jake in the first as a starter just to wiggle him in, but it is what
Jack,
it is.
You're talking about the new signing, Jack?
Yeah. Oh, Jack, my bad.
Yeah.
To me, I think they could have played, out of this, just seeing this formation. I'd rather see Pirano up as a forward as a third forward. And then you can slide in the, Maloney up a little. Like I said, Maloney and Gomez will be up, and then you just have Abu and PC as your center mids. But I'd rather see, Pirano up top, especially on the outside, because he just does you saw what he did last night. He was making people miss off the dribble.
Yep.
Here's the problem, and I'm going to use your words against you, Rafa.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the problem with having Pirano up top, especially on the sides, is it seemed like, Sam and Nacho, they were too heavy to one side. When they tried to cross it, we didn't have that height on the side, because obviously if you're trying to cross it, which is something that San Antonio FC tries to do,
Mm-hmm.
Pirano isn't winning many head balls, unlike, Collier as an example, or Nacho along those lines. So I'm wondering if maybe, you have Sam, you have Nacho on one side. If you put Pirano more in the middle, even if it's a little bit further back, like a false 9, if that would be better than putting him, up top on the side here, for that here. Does that work a little bit better?
Well, if he plays on the outside, let's say he plays on the right side, especially what you saw he did, especially that one shot he missed.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have your forwards stay where they need to be. Like I said, you can have a Dittern in the middle and switch Bologna to the left side. Pirano be on the right. But what Pirano can do off the dribble is into the box is he can actually send crosses to a Dittern or even to the backside to Bologna, and they can, they'll be 1v1 there to send for shots. But it also sets up the shot for Pirano, especially from the top of the 18, since he's left-footed. He made a couple of those runs. He just didn't have the space to shoot. But if he has the space to shoot, he can make some of those shots, and which he's done in the past. So that's where I rather see him play, because he frees him up, playing kind of like with Gallego. You remember with Gallegos, we had him on the outside too. So it freed him up to send crosses in or get those outside shots from the top of the key.
Your thoughts, Robert?
Yeah, no, I was really happy with some of the things I saw last night with Pirano. It made me feel like there was flashes of like the old Pirano, like he's taking people on, he's beating his man, he's doing creative stuff to like, I mean, he even like, assisted on the goal. So like you're saying, a false nine may be a possibility, but like it's just a matter of trying the pieces, see where they fit, see what works, what doesn't. It's all about cohesion. I think that's what's kind of being lost right now in the offenses. We're not as cohesive as we were before. We had a system, it was working, each person knew their role. Now it's kind of like everyone's trying different things, different places. So hopefully they can find some consistency, especially with the playoffs around the corner. So
let's start with the video highlights here. I will say there's not a lot to this match, but let's give it a shot.
9 degrees, breeze out of the southeast, 16 miles an hour. We're glad to have you along. Opening kick tonight brought to you by Pizza Hut and from San Diego, which is hosting Phoenix. So if both San Diego and Colorado just don't win and SAFC wins, then SAFC has an opportunity to take the top of the table tonight. Record of 23, 16, and 16, and 55.
That's not a goal, but
Mexico.
Abu's service is just so smooth. Abu, for some reason, he just has that service. Even it wasn't a goal, but he can serve up a free kick or even a long pass like that. It's undervalued or doesn't get talked about a lot.
Do you think also? I think we're becoming a little too predictable sending the ball to the backside.
Yes,
because I'm noticing a lot of they're defending us a lot better there. I think he needs to kind of mix it up, send some balls inside the 6 to at least score there to kind of keep them honest, because I think they're all pretty. See how they're all bunched up towards the back. They already say they're going to look for Tanner to get that cross back in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or look at right there if he headed it back. Who's that PC right there? God, he's just sitting all by himself.
Yeah, I think he needs to start mixing it up a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
So,
oh my gosh, look at that.
So would you rather have Pirano right here as opposed to PC? Like instead of having Pirano out here on the left, would you rather had him and then dip back to where Tanner, and of course, and take a heck of a header to be able to do that, but
sure.
I think you can mix it up. You can mix it up. I mean,
pushing Pirano in the box on a header situation, I don't know.
But I think we need to kind of shy away from playing the ball always to the backside. We need to start forcing balls. I mean, you have a Ditter in, you have Nacho, or if you have Collier in there, playing into the 6, a little, flick and, a flick into the goals is a possibility. And like I said, it's going to keep teams, keep them honest on defending us on those set pieces. But I think we've already seen a pattern of we're playing it too much on that depending on that backside. I know we've gotten some goals, but I think now they're starting to see that too much. Is hey, let's just mix it up a bit.
Yeah, like maybe mix it up. Like you said, if you watch Sacramento, they do a good job of the set piece mix up. Man, you never know what they're gonna do, and there's some creative stuff. If you watch that game, I don't know, they did this little volley thing. It was wild. Like that's the kind of things that maybe we need to think about. Is like not just the same, force it down the middle.
So then moving on.
55 appearances with New Mexico. Swartz pulled down by Connor Maloney. Play on here. United with an opportunity and the saves.
That was actually a wicked shot. When you watch the replay, how it dips at the end.
Sea of yellow shirts and
Say just like that. See how dangerous that ball into the 6?
Yeah. And Abu serves it up.
I think Maloney didn't get all of it, but if he really gets it looking more hit, I think that's it.
Like this is old Pirano right here. There's a couple of times. There was one shot.
I wish he would have. Oh, there we go.
See, that's why we want him on the outside. That's the perfect example right there, because if you look, you kind of play it back a bit where he's at on the top, on the corner of the 18. if you have a Jeter in there, it's a Baloney, well, it should have been a foul there because he did get fouled there. But you have your two guys there, so you're gonna have their defense make a decision, either go up to him to block his shot, and then if they do that, he can chip it up to one of our two tall forwards there and get in, and like I said, have him give him an opportunity to score.
I wish Pirano would have passed on that though. I think he would have had a better opportunity than the shot that he had. Just, I don't know if he got a whole lot on it.
Counter opportunity for San Antonio. Nice flick there by Adeniran. Lands to Pirano. And
Yeah,
it's
that one
tipped away.
had more heat or more mustard than you realize. That one right there, because it went through legs. It went through some guy's legs. So that can be tricky for a keeper.
On his favorite left foot.
He knuckled it.
Talk about it all the time.
I think if he deflects it, that goes in.
Or if it's a little like further away, it just happened to get close to his body.
Good build up through the middle of the park. He's off his back foot below.
All right, do you think Nacho's offsides here?
There's some yellow right there.
Pirano's way back.
I mean,
it's by Loney. He's onside.
It's close.
That angle doesn't look as good, but when they show it from the backside, it looks less. It doesn't look obvious. That one, I mean, from
Because
that
I know
angle, sure.
Somos Moss and Seth's already drawn his little VAR line saying, hey.
Like right there, like that. I mean, from a certain angle, like you watch it, it doesn't look nearly as.
A little bit, not to take the shot with his
So
right
it's hard to
foot.
say.
He had enough time to put it on his favorite left and just.
It was a nice finish, though.
Nice fun. Yeah, it's
Held on.
Like that right
Yeah.
there. That angle doesn't look bad. Look at that one. That does not look. It's hard to say there, but from the one where the first angle, yes. From that,
That's
just,
why a defender.
Always fun playing.
all right. So who wants to talk this one out?
I guess I can step in on this one. Oh, here's
You're
the
right.
situation right here. We have our when he's flexing. So we have a 2v2 here, which, like I said, the ball's passed off to the outside here, to the wing for New Mexico. So Jack or Shannon
Jack's right here.
and
Here's
Shannon
Shannon.
have to communicate who's going to get the ball, the guy with the ball, and then someone stay in that space, because it's a possibility they can play it back to on the wall pass or even on the overlap, to defend that. Now we stop right there. That's where the communication needs to say,
is.
and I think that this has, for what it is because they haven't played with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That communication. I think that was the beginning of the breakdown. And if you continue on right there, stop right there.
Because both of them go.
Yeah,
That
so
guy
one
sucks
has to
everybody in.
stay back.
Everybody sucks in. Yeah, someone needs to. Like, they left that guy in the wide. He
And
sucks
one
everybody in.
of the things, like I said, when I coached club, when I taught the defending, is someone has to yell, "I got ball," So that'll notify the other guy that's free to go back to the space. Or if you're gonna switch off, switch. That guy's, like I said, Gomez could have gone in here, because Jack could have, if he had been communicated a lot better, he would have stayed back in that gap.
Could have stayed further back and not get drawn in so much.
And you see there, we have 3 guys onto the ball, which is already bad news there. We shouldn't have.
So you got PC, Abu, and Shannon.
Team like the
This is where it gets bad right here. The wide pass, wide open.
Now in this play, Gomez should have directed Manley to go out to that word there to the 18 outside box to defend, and Shannon could have defended and what should have been with the attacker, the New Mexico attacker there.
Chris Weehan.
And there was, like I said, like a communication, and that was dedicated to Harry.
Yeah, there it is. He's got you. I'm tired of that guy. I'm tired of him scoring into the field.
So here's my whole problem with this. If you watch the run by Chris, he just ran. It's like he was jogging around. And I'm not a soccer player. I never played. But to me, that yes, they over rotated. But to me, letting Chris just walk in there's just way too much space. They're not covering him at all. To me,
It's ball watching.
That's lack of communication there. The one that should have picked him up should have been Shannon Gomez. He saw him make that run. He's not gonna. If he's thinking Manley's gonna get him, Manley's not in the position to get him. See, right there,
Manley's looking this way.
Looking that way. He needs to tell Shannon, "Hey, get him. I got the space." But lack of communication there allowed him to get kind of sneak in there.
And it's good on New Mexico. I don't want to take anything away from New Mexico. They had this opportunity. It's like I titled this, one defensive lapse, and this was a defensive lapse where, you can go all the way from the start with Jack and Shannon to everybody going, with the player and Yearwood staying back, number 3 staying back, and then allowing Chris Wayham just basically to boss the box. I have a feeling Coach Marcina is not going to be happy when he watches the tape on this play.
I mean, New Mexico took advantage of our laps, and that's what you're supposed to do.
And it leads to the thing we talked about earlier. I have one question. Do you think with Garcia back there commanding, it's not just his defensive ability, but his presence to dictate or organize the back line? He's almost like the quarterback of the defense in a way. I mean, the goalie's there too to dictate things too, but I think there's a presence there that's like underrated or undervalued. Like he's commanding, like you go directing traffic, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But the one thing is that Manley and Shannon have played together for pretty much all season long. Even the games without Garcia, like I said, Manley, Tainer, and Kamari have stepped it up. There is just a lack of communication there, of who's supposed to get who. And that was a defensive lapse that New Mexico took advantage of, and that could be corrected. I'm sure Marcinez probably jumped on their butts again. You can see Jordan; he's pissed off because it was a defensive lapse. You can't blame Jordan for that.
And you figure Garcia would have been where Kamari was, so he wouldn't have been.
Yeah, it would have never made a big difference.
But it's like not the position; it's the organization. Like I played on teams. There's always that one or two guy who would dig quarterback stuff.
But if you look where Kamari's at, if that's Garcia, he's still.
He's not making the play though. That's the issue.
He's not making the play, and the play should have been made by Gomez or Manley. Really, it was more of Gomez.
Well, you're a goalkeeper, Robert. When you have plays like this, that because it was a breakdown. I think everybody would agree. Unfortunately, it was a breakdown. When you have the defense break down, even what you as a as the goalie, Kamari was right here in the position. Do you think having Garcia to be able to boss the line would have changed the direction? Like, you think him being able to shout out instructions, is that something that's gonna
absolutely because you start leaning on certain individuals, like you start to fill a role. Like there's people that are quality players, don't get me wrong, but you start to learn, okay, the goalie's going to dictate or like kind of direct traffic, but then they may be leaning on Garcia in that way, and then all of a sudden he's missing. Each person's trying to figure out, okay, and now there's more Indians instead of like a chief. There's like, and so they're starting to like, and there's starting to be these like defensive lapses. Ever since Garcia's been out, there's been a lot more of these like.
Yes, I agree with
that. Like these plays where it's like, disorganization all of a sudden. Not 10 of them. They're still quality, but in the back. And don't get me wrong, but like to me, it's like, in teams I played with, you're like, you look at this guy. This is the leader, so he steps up and he starts dictating traffic. So yes, absolutely. I think not that he could have made that play because he could have been where Kamari was, but there's a better chance of it being more organized in that. Hey, look, this guy's coming or the runner's coming. I was a vocal goalie. You can hear me from a mile away.
Let me ask you a question here, because Jordan's looking, Kamari's looking as well. Could they have shout? Is that maybe kind of the communication that you're talking about here with without having Garcia? Maybe maybe yelling at Shannon or yelling at Manley or even Kamari stepping forward, because you can tell he's pointing to the back. Hey, watch the back. But I guess he was following number 30 for that here.
And who
He tried to
else?
pick
This
up after the
weekend,
fact, but it's
the
too late.
SAFC killer himself delivers the equalizer.
But you do see a play where Kamiri's pointing to the left side, not to where the ball side was, because he was organizing the backside.
The backside, yeah.
And you can see him point out. So he wasn't looking at he was more concerned about the backside. And had it even been Garcia, like I said, I think it would have been the same result. It was just bad communication, from Manley and Gomez. Now, could have Jordan, as a keeper, kind of recognized that and say, "Hey, I need someone," and then you can tell with his reaction that it should have never gone in. Had
Absolutely.
one of those guys defended it.
And Darius has, commented missing Garcia during those times here, and so we're gonna finish with the replay here, but for the two goalies, anything that Jordan could have done, or just it was too it was basically a one-on-one, and he didn't really have a shot.
No, it's tough.
It's a tough shot. It's a chip. Yeah, it's a tough. It's like a misdirection pass.
You should never let that guy have free runner in the box like that.
USL Championship
Right now.
match. It is running to the box and collision there.
It was a class finish, though.
But it's Portillo gives it a go, and that's blocked inside the box. Lands to Rivas,
Yeah,
and it takes it.
That's the only other offense they had right there. Right there, that sequence is a little scary. Outside of that, they did nothing else.
Seeding an equalizer to New Mexico United is going to result in a 1-1 draw, and for the first time in 19 matches.
So
Tony Lefty
here's my question.
doesn't take
I don't remember which minute. I think it's probably the 75th minute when everybody was by the bench. What was going on around that part? Because I was asking Robert and I was asking people around me, and I didn't know what was going on.
It looked like they tried to put a soccer ball that was a New Mexico soccer ball instead of the official one into the match to speed it up. That's what I was hearing on the broadcast. So the ref was trying to give the ball back to him, and no one was taking it back, so it delayed it. Like it wasn't the official match ball because it went on a play, and instead of letting the ball boy bring it back, they were trying to throw their own ball, and the ref's like, no, you can't use this. So this is one of your team balls. I mean, not that matters, but that's what they said on the replay.
So let me go over the stats here real quick, and then there is one question that I have, and I'll ask the question here for you guys. The 62nd minute, Lynn came on for Nacho, and Collier came on for Pirano.
Pirano, yeah.
Question is, what happened to our attack after that? But looking at the stats here, and this is why I bring it up. If you were to guess here, let me ask you this question. If you guys haven't seen, how many shots would you think San Antonio had for the game?
By that time, we probably had maybe 4 or 5 shots.
3 or 4.
On goal?
Well, no, just shots.
Just shots.
Probably 4.
Maybe 5, 4.
So San Antonio had and this goes for New Mexico as well, and this kind of shows, we're going to get to a stat that's Rafa's stat here, but each team had 7 shots for the game. First half, San Antonio was 5-3, and New Mexico was 4-1. Second half, they only had 2 shots, 1 on target, and New Mexico had 3 and 1. We had 10 fouls, they had 15. We got 2 yellow, they had 4. The passing, though, we had 302 passes at 65%. They had 321 passes at 63%. So in Rafa's do we win or not, it's below 70, and San Antonio did not win. So that stat still kind of holds. Tackles, they had 21 tackles. We had 5. We had 13 interceptions, 13 clearances. But to me, that second half on the offense, when you look at the flow chart of the match, basically after we scored, almost right after that, our offense wasn't there. And that was the thing that's frustrated me, is we got the goal, and to give New Mexico credit, and like I said, we covered their goal in the defensive breakdown. but they are the ones that bossed that second half compared to San Antonio FC. Any thoughts on the substitution pattern? I know Jack had to come on this, or he didn't have to come on, but he had to play either this game or prior to Colorado Springs to have that one match prior to the roster freeze cutoff, and he still needs to get 4 more matches. But your thoughts on the subs going out, and it's not saying Collier or Jack did performed poorly, but the offense was not the same.
I think with Jack not being familiar with the rest of the guys is probably was an effect. But I know we had a sub Pirano because he did get hit, I think, somewhere in the rib area, so he needed that sub out. I think maybe we could have waited a little bit longer putting Jack in, maybe subbed in Collier for Pirano in the meantime and keep Baloney, because I think Baloney was still active.
Mm-hmm.
And those are some things that maybe I think Marcino kind of needs to look back. Yes, we need to put him in, but let's hold back. Let's put some guy right now. Like I said, Collier would have been the obvious choice to go in right away because, like I said, he does create offense. But one of the things we were just lacking is we just had a lot of bad first touches to even set up passes and shots. And that's something we need to clean up. But that 65% passing, it's not going to cut it. And especially giving bad passes on the attacking side. I like to know the numbers on that, as far as what percentages, how high or how low we are. Because if we can get it, getting in the 70s, but I think overall we need to get to at least 75% as far as accurate passing to really win games. And I think, like I said, I think both teams struggled on both, like I said, on the passing. There was just a lot of, there's one that we sent out wide and it just went out of bounds. I think only it was Tanner to send out one. We can't be doing stuff like that. We need to be more efficient. And I think forcing balls, I know it's our kickball style, trying to get it up from the back. I think we need to kind of limit that a little bit, kind of pick and choose when if we have a 1v1, okay, send it up like that. But we need to work it up the field a little bit more, kind of kill some clock, especially we have a league. Hey, just be patient. Hey, they have to come, we're ahead. They have to chase us. We can kind of wear them out a little bit and then take advantage. Maybe then we can take advantage of maybe some of the long balls and so forth. So I think that's what we can improve on especially for Tuesday.
What was the final possession? Because that struck me in the first half. What was the final?
I think New Mexico had better possession than we did.
Yeah, hold on. I can tell you here real quick. Here, I was moving to the RGV Switchbacks match just to kind of get some numbers from that because playing Colorado Springs. Possession wise, 52% to 48. First half we had possession 53 to 47. Second half 56 to 44, and I think that's where you saw that. And let's be honest, neither one of these teams like to have the ball. But it does seem like this match here, who had the ball had the better half.
And that's what kind of struck me is just the way they may have strategically set up for us. They're like, let's let San Antonio possess the ball, because when the game's when we're dominant, it's always strange. Like we have 38% possession because we're letting that team kick it around, press up, and then we counter on them. And they weren't letting that happen. So it's just kind of like this mucked up situation where both teams are kind of trying to do the same thing. There's no offense. It was just kind of a different setup. It just struck me when I saw the initial possession numbers in the first half. Are they intentionally letting us kick the ball around and we don't know what to do with it because we're used to the other team, and then we press forward, we capitalize on their mistakes, and then take it to them.
I think a lot of like I said, I think they're reading too much of the long ball that we're doing, and we're ended up wearing ourselves out because of bad passing.
Yeah.
I think the strategy going, I think from here and on out is, I think we got to be patient with the ball. We got to do more ball possession as far as quick touches and so forth. Even though that's not our game, but like I said, if we can just kind of implement just a little bit of it, because that will help us maintain leads or even set up, opportunities to win games. Because
Or
I
being
think they're already
flexible,
reading.
like flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to be flexible, and then I think that a lot of teams are starting to read us, and that's not a good thing going into the playoffs.
No, every team that lets us possess the ball, it's almost like we don't know what to do with it. We're just like, now, it's like we're used to not having the ball. We're used to them just kicking it around, pressing forward, and then we capitalize. And in situations where it's like even or we have more possession, it's almost like dysfunctional.
So looking at Tuesday, 7:30 kickoff against Colorado Springs, first versus third. For that here, Colorado Springs kind of pretty set, kind of trying to make a run for that second slot. We're going against Haji Berry and Naglina, Elvis Ammo, Cam Lindley.
Lindley. He's the orchestrator.
So solid team offensively. I think RGV did beat them 1-0, kind of using the same pressing that we did, although looking at watching USL Tactics, they waited till they got to midfield and then pressed them. But RGV is playing, if you look at the stats, you'd think it was an SAFC match where 40% possession for RGV. Switchbacks had 60, but if you look at shots, 18-9 for RGV, 8-2 for the Switchbacks. So to me, does it kind of favor Switchbacks having already played RGV? I know it's away, but already having played a pressing team like San Antonio RGV, or is this something that where San Antonio, because Colorado Springs struggles with a pressing team, still kind of favors us? What kind of game do you look for, Robert?
Like you said, the latter's I think the answer. Like this team is more catered to what we like. They love to press forward. They love to push the envelope on offense. And as long as you don't give up early, like you don't concede early, you don't give up, a goal or two and get down, and you're forced to be the aggressor. Dude, this team actually is more in line with the teams we're successful with, because they love to be offensive juggernaut, like press, and then we can counter on their mistakes, put a few goals in. But it is a short turnaround, so I anticipate a lot of subs. Like I'm thinking, considering like our position in the standings, I think Lynn's going to play more than normal. A lot of the players are going to be intertwined because the status of Patino and Dylan are up in the air. So I can see that even more so.
I think if we do what we did to them in Colorado, our defense totally shut them down. I think I said you saw what RGV did. I think the biggest key is like what I saw when they played Monterey Bay. At Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay really exposed them, as far as defensive wise. Yeah, they have a good offense, but Colorado's defense is not very good, and they got exposed that game. And I think that's something we took a page to win that game at Colorado. And I think we just kind of need to do the same thing, is just be patient, but also press them in that midfield area and get those turnovers and score on them. So we can do kind of the same model what Monterey did on that first game they ever played. I think we'll be fine on Tuesday, whichever lineup we put up.
It'd be very physical. Like
But if you
offensively minded teams don't like to be physical.
If you see how tight the defense was on Colorado, I mean that's really what pulled them apart, especially when them getting that trying to get that last winning goal. For us, if we could keep them tight, keep the tight defense, and I'm hopefully not go to this 5-back again. I mean,
I think you're going to see that. Well, I think it's going to depend on. So I think it's a 3-back, but I think for this matchup here, they played them a lot deeper than Marcina wants.
All I'm saying, I just don't want to see that 5-back again, because I felt like that 5-back kind of hurt a little bit.
I think we go back to a 3-4-3 because I think we need to press them, and because if we don't press them, we allow them. I think that's what happened last night. Is we allowed Mexico to come into more of our area when possession, and because they were pressing us for a good 20 minutes, and we're hanging on by a thread until we kind of weathered the storm. I think this game, you flip the switch on them. You have to put the pressure on them, and that's like I said. That's what Monterey Bay did. They didn't allow them to dictate the game as far as. We have to be the aggressor, and I think putting pressure on them, they really make a lot of mistakes, especially passing, and that's what I've seen on their losses.
Yeah,
They-
yeah. They're sloppy.
you know,
They're sloppy in the
Lily's
back.
on there.
Yeah.
You press them, they make bad passes, and we can take advantage of their weak defense and put some in the net.
And is Garcia going to be back? Because if you remember in that game, he was pretty monumental. He had that one save.
Mhm.
I mean, he was a big factor. So is he going to be
He's
back?
got to have to play some games because you got to get him in game shape.
Yeah,
Because
I think they're holding him out on purpose because of our position.
And we can't, and really, you shouldn't be holding him out because we're going to have a first round. If we do get a first round bye, and if he's not getting much playing time before that, you know, he's not going to be in good shape. And I think they need to start working. If he's ready to go, they need to start working minutes with him, get him at least a half or 30 minutes. You know, that way he's ready to go for that first playoff game. That way he can start.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. He
And
needs to battle tested.
So I have to kind of slow the roll on Garcia because I could have sworn I saw something from Jonathan Check saying that he was in practice. I actually talked to Jonathan and he's like, yeah, I don't know where you got that from, Harry. So he may not be back as close as we think. I swear I saw something, and I don't believe it was just me, but
No, I saw
It
it
was
too.
on Instagram. It was on there. It was all over. He was all over practice. Yeah, he looked like he was fit as fiddle.
so. But Jonathan, to be fair to Jonathan, because I did point him out, he's like, yeah, I didn't say that. So just to be fair to Jonathan, he didn't, you know, he's not, you know, I know he did the one with, which is the other person that came back recently from injury.
That was Manly.
Manly. He's the one that pointed out Manly. So to be fair to Jonathan, you know, he may not have he may not have said it, and it may just have been the Instagram post or something from SAFC that highlighted him out on that. On
Yeah,
that
because
page.
when they did that El Grito tryout, he was exiting practice.
So just to be fair to Jonathan, so,
I think the other player that also needs to probably be back is Patino, but we don't know what the status of his.
Yeah, what?
but I think Jack's for Patino though. If you're talking about bringing in a poacher that's athletic along, that's Patino. That's not Dylan.
But you play him at a 9. Play him as a 9. If he's a 9, he's a 9.
So maybe Tuesday we see him start as part of the 3-man forward.
Three forwards as a 9. Yeah.
I mean, if you're bringing him in, I think for this game you need we got to go back to a 3-4-3 because we need to press these guys, and I think he's athletic enough to do it and has the speed to put the pressure on their defense so we make them cause them bad mistakes.
So, well, I guess I should say, any final comments on the Switchbacks before we get into the standings?
Just got to win. I mean, we got to stay ahead of Louisville. But then I think also we clinch pretty much home field advantage for the Western Conference. So
yeah, we need 4 points, yeah. So, and the Copa Shield, I haven't done the numbers, and I'm not going to be the one to make the announcement. I'm going to let the Copa Teos people make that announcement because I know they got to work with SAFC, the MLS clubs, and all the supporters groups before that's officially announced. But looking at the math, most likely, it seems like even with this point and with Austin tying, that San Antonio FC will also be getting the Copa Teos Cup for the best record among all the Texas clubs, both men and women professionally. But like I said here, that'll be coming out a little bit later from the fine folks at Copa Tejas. But looking at the standings here, Louisville, 30 matches played, 63 points. They've got a max points of 75. They got 12 remaining points. We've got 15. Our max points at 29. And we're at 64 is 79. So that's why these wins, and that's why that gap. You can't afford any losses, because if you keep winning and staying in that 4-point gap, if you were to, let's say lose at Birmingham or lose at Pittsburgh or drop points to there, it still gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Memphis is still hanging around 58 points. The Rowdies, if you're looking at their recent performance, 54. They're starting to dip. You got to wonder if they're gonna hold on to even a home game here. Birmingham 54 points as well. Their recent forms well. Pittsburgh 52. They were on a roll until they went to Birmingham last week. Detroit City just beat Tampa 1-0 at home. Detroit City on the road's a different animal than at home, but they got a
beat
hell of a
Colorado
coach.
on the road. They beat Colorado.
So Miami FC drew Atlanta United 2, so that's a loss, and that's why they're now in 7th here. But if you look, everybody's got X's. These to set, outside of who finishes where. Tulsa, Hartford, Indy, Loudoun, Charleston, Atlanta United 2. Baby Bulls, thanks for playing, but you're fishing already. So, and I do have to make a comment. Charleston, I know you lost to Memphis 5-0, and you ended the game 11-8. So not good.
I watched that game. I was watching the fouls. That was pretty brutal.
Slaps in the face.
The little slap in front of everybody.
That slap is that looked like Patino against Colorado.
Yeah,
That's
except for except the player didn't respond like the Switchbacks player did.
Yeah, the Edwards guy.
So out west, San Antonio, 64 points, 55. So we'd lost our 11-point lead. Now it's a 9-point lead. Still not too concerned about it. Switchbacks at 51. They've lost back-to-back matches. Sacramento's the team that I think you got to look out for, despite the loss against Orlando City in the Open Cup final. They bossed Loudoun United, and I watched the Orange County match this afternoon, and it wasn't even close. Although there was a little questionable call on the first goal where the AR raised his flag inadvertently, and Orange County stopped, but that's on Orange County for not playing until the whistle. El Paso's up 2-0 going against a weakened LA Galaxy team. No Judd and no Harvey. Harvey finally got a 3 games suspension for his theatrics on the pitch. So El Paso with the wins actually above in 5th place at this point, 43 points because they have the tiebreaker over New Mexico, the head-to-head. However, New Mexico still has a game in hand, and like I said here, possibly can get it. Hotter on the tails, RGV, Oakland Roots, Monterey Bay. The Lights got turned out by Hartford 3-0. Phoenix. That's a train wreck both on and off the pitch right now. And the defending champs. You don't have an E yet, but you might as well because
sign that trophy for us.
So, but max points out west, just kind of looking at and kind of giving it through there here. If you're looking at max points, San Antonio at 79, Loyola at 67, Switchback 63. Sacramento is actually 64. So if they went out, which they'd have to beat San Antonio in order to do that. And, right before San Antonio catches a huge break because Rodrigo Lopez, their star midfielder MVP candidate, got his 11th yellow right before he was getting subbed out. So he'll be sitting for 2 matches against San Antonio, against Phoenix, unless that gets repealed. New Mexico at 55. El Paso, even with the wins, at 52. RGV's at 54. Roots is only at 51, but Monterey Bay's at 56, and they're on a tear. The Fighting Gleedles are, and he's lighting it up. And even Vegas still has a shot at 52 points, although I think with Danny Trejo going to LAFC, I don't really give them much credit, but still a lot to be decided out west here. Matt, any thoughts on the standings? Anything that stands out to you?
I just wish it shouldn't have been that draw last night, and I really think we need to win out these games. We have to pull everything together, whether it be the team talking it out, making sure we all are on our P's and Q's, just to keep the energy. I mean, that's all we can do as on the outside of the pitch. Just keep the energy up. That's what we're there for.
So moving to final thoughts here. We'll start with you, Matt, since you're the fill-in host for Royce. So thank you for stepping up. I know Royce was last minute, and the Mighty Max had a game or something going on this evening. So thank you for stepping up and filling in. Although your choice of jersey, it's not as bad. Is it as bad as Rafa's? That's that's a discussion for another night.
Depends on the time. Depends on the time of the
Oh,
year.
LA just scored, so on a PK. So hold the presses here if El Paso's defense falls apart. But
Yuma probably get a red.
He's actually not as bad right now. I've been like trying to ski off and look.
He's like the
not doing that
peacekeeper.
bad.
Like the last he's always trying to peacekeep. I was like, what's going on? It's an alternate universe.
he transferred to Yuma, or pardon me, he transferred to Kamiri. Any final thoughts there, Matt?
Just need to keep the energy in the stadium. I mean, I want us to be whole again like we used to be. Just want to see everyone come out, enjoy the games, bring your family, bring your friends. Just keep that push on going. Get these players feeling like we're holding their back. Be that support.
Robert, your final thoughts?
I just have two. Like I was going to send a shout out to the owner of New Mexico. He was super nice,
Peter. Yeah,
super personable, and he took the banter well. He even cracked a few jokes. He was he impressed me. I saw him last time, but I didn't approach him. But this time I talked to him. He was actually really cool. And then the second thing is Skull Vikings. Let's go. Let's beat the Eagles tomorrow night.
Yes, please.
As a Bronco fan, even with Russell Wilson, it's painful.
Oh God, that's it. He's a thief. He stole $250 million from y'all, fair and square.
Or is it the coach? I'm starting to think it's the coach. Coach.
Who gets paid more?
3-1.
Anyways,
3-1. They just scored again.
who? El Paso?
El Paso did, yeah, 3-1.
They're a good team sometimes.
Rafa? Sometimes.
Not all the time. Sometimes they're horrible.
Nice strong header there.
Especially when they lose to Loudoun United.
The only teams that scare me are Monterey Bay and Sac because they're coming in hot at the end.
I still worry about San Diego. I think San Diego has a team that can contend with us, and same with Sacramento.
I think you might want to include RGV because defensively they've been doing a lot better.
And offensively, they've found a front three and can actually put balls on the frame.
So I'm sure San Diego does not want that matchup.
Nobody wants to go down there. But
They won't go down there.
That's the thing. That's the big thing. RGV is a different animal down there.
Oh, but
That's Death Valley. That's Death Valley.
RGV won't be at home. They'll be on the road.
That's what I mean, though.
7th seed.
That's why they're not as scary in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they can't play on the road that way.
They beat Phoenix last year.
Everybody
Let's not
beats
forget
Phoenix.
that.
Oh yeah, that's right. On the
Last
PK.
year they didn't, but
But they had
Rafa,
a way better. Anyways,
Rafa, your final thoughts?
my final thoughts, like I said, hopefully, like I said, we kind of wrap things up, get those 3 points against Colorado. So hopefully we can take care of business. And then final thoughts, another derby win, took care of business against Atletico. And last night, America took care of business with Chivas. So like I said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And then Alvarez, he took care of Triple G too. So congratulations to him.
you're riding high.
So it was a good day, and then yes, the Cowboys did win. When it wasn't pretty, but they won on that final second field goal. But like I said, if you go out,
Rush better than Dak already.
I don't know about that.
Dak out. Hashtag Dak out.
But like I said, we just look for Tuesday. Like I said, if you have nothing to do on Tuesday, come out and just cheer our team on. Like I said, we're not done yet.
$2 hot dogs.
Yeah, $2 hot dogs. So that way you don't have to make dinner at home. Just go out there.
I got my order ready, Robert.
Order.
No more. I'll never do that again.
And I'll admit the hot dogs aren't bad.
They're
They're not top quality, but they're not they're decent hot dogs.
They're not
I'll give it credit.
Absolutely.
But like I said, that's what I'm looking for this week. And then, like I said, I probably won't be. You may not see me the next week because I'll start hitting the road. So I'll be in Abilene on next Sunday.
So no Sacramento match for Rafa.
On Saturday, I'll be at the Freeman, cheering for the Scorpions.
The band or the
band.
Wait, what's going on?
The band.
I was like, wait, what?
Robert's like, hey, what's up?
It's like white. It's like White Lion. What's going on?
They're indoor team now, or
yeah, there you go.
Rafa's going to all depths to cover San Antonio soccer here.
Top mine 2 years old, so this might be the last time we see him.
So my final thoughts. One, if you can come out and support San Antonio on Tuesday, it's going to be a light crowd. Just Tuesday night match, 7:30. It's going to be a thin crowd. Number two, congratulations to UTSA. They got the W today. Finished up their 3-game homestand. I know they lost to Rice, but they did, get the win today against Charlotte. So congrats to them. But to me, thank you to Darius and AJ for tuning in. Matt, thank you for tuning in because I know if we hadn't invited you on, you would have been on. But I don't hear as many snide comments while you're on the show as compared to you in the chat. I'm not sure where the disconnect is, but
Hey, I don't like to do it. I don't need people to know my face when I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's a
You
jersey
can't see
karma. That jersey triggers a karma.
so
I mean, hey, this was a good-looking jersey too. I'm just saying.
Compared to the other one from the Nike one.
But I do think we'll have to get together and kind of discuss World Cup coverage because I would like, if possible, to be able to do a show every night kind of recapping, and that may take, multiple people to be able to do that, where, if I can't host, maybe Rafa hosts, and then, we'll have, 2 or 3 people that rotates on to kind of discuss the matches for the day.
And get Coach on too.
Yeah, bring on Coach Kano for that here. But want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening on the podcast. We're getting close to, I think, 5,000 listens on the podcast here. So we're at 4,600. So we're closing in on 5,000 all-time plays. We have an audience on there about 25, 30 people that listen consistent every week. So do want to thank everybody for that here. And like I said here, obviously, as we get closer to high school season, that'll obviously pick up a little bit more with coverage through there. I want to thank Rafa, Robert, Matt for stepping up tonight. We'll probably have a second show later on in the week to discuss the switchbacks and then kind of preview Sacramento. I'll see if I can reach out to any of my contacts out in Sacramento to see if they can come on and talk Republic, because I think it'd be awesome to kind of hear the inside scoop of their run. And obviously I think it's a rivalry between Sacramento and San Antonio. I know Royce and others disagree.
It's there.
It's getting there. I think.
It's getting there.
After last year's game in Sac, it's a little chippy.
Yeah,
they've all been
to
chippy.
say the least.
What people don't understand is Sacramento and San Antonio has always been close. It's always been physical, and it's always been chippy. And it's always seems like it's came down to a call made or not made in said favorite team's direction that influences the outcome of the match.
Or we can all agree California and Texas just don't get along.
Yeah, so
just ask Mitchell Tanner on. Even when your own teammates knock you out when you're out on loan.
Well, let's just hope that he can get through Tuesday's game without a yellow card, so that way he gets to play.
Yeah, right.
Gets to play there. 'Cause,
yeah, right. There's no Santa Claus either.
Well, if he can get past the switchbacks match, if he picks up the yellow against Sacramento, then he misses the road trip. But which would still be tough. But to me, that's the one that we have to worry about. PC, I think, is looking a lot better, being able to slip through. Didn't pick up a yellow this match here, so he still needs 2 before he gets to 2-game suspension. So for that here, but thank you for everybody tuning in. Wanted to keep it under an hour, so I got to get off in about the next 10 seconds to be able to say I kept it under the hour. What's life without goals? We're out of here. Thank you for everybody tuning in.